When England was English. It was late October, before Halloween, during my first year at our comprehensive, when Old Bull, our English teacher, met a cantankerous new disease whose name in 4 words I couldn't pronounce or see. The week the pilot episode of Starsky and Hutch was shown on a starlit night Friday, shortly after the 9 o'clock news, when Ian McGaskell would blunder the weather forecast and the whirling globe was still a symbol of the people's BBC. Back at school on Monday, our second period of the day, Old Bull was subdued with a faraway gaze, not here nor there, like the multiracial class that listened or not, talking in desultory tones of Saturday Night and the Gran Torino, red with a lightning white stripe, action all the way. Jeffrey and Jawed were punching each other in the back row like American cops. George was designing an aerodynamic plane and naming it Zebra 3. Winston was moaning to Alan for not being able to play football on Saturdays against his religious beliefs, with only Parminder browsing at his $6 million man cards, and on the far side a couple of plaited girls were glancing and giggling at Steve. Oblivious in the midst of those separate worlds, those insulars of insularity, Old Bull, his eyes raw and sparkling, read us a piece by Dylan Thomas, a voice I couldn't work out, a look, a pause at every line. And death shall have no dominion. Poetry came flooding, blank as a midnight sky, a vacuum in his own world. And suddenly there he was, standing, tears and all, defiance without quite defying. His voice quivered, faltering, a kind of dignity at his own indignity. And death shall have no dominion. And one by one we fell to a hush confusedly, complexity compounding, staring at the world turning upside down, a foundation crumbling all around me. And death shall have no dominion. And then abruptly he stopped, like time itself, like sickly breath, turning to the arched window, remnant of Charles Dickens' Gradgrind school of mid-19th century Britain, when England was English and the empire ruled the world. We're fools, guided by the stars, he spoke, glancing at the morning clouds outside, moving us, pulling us west, always it seems. And immediately I felt a sudden sharp thrust of sadness, injectory pain like under a surgeon's knife, not knowing how or why, but feeling or seeing the fading away of something implicitly at an end, the ebbing away of life. Pain that returned a few years ago when I read that Starsky's wife Elizabeth and children were also dying of AIDS, and that Paul and David never made it as cosmic stars, like Stan Laurel, Paul Newman, or Humphrey Bogart.